Hey everyone. Moontrader recently rolled out a completely new type of algorithm, the vector. My usual approach is to first figure a thing out to a pretty good degree before making a video, but let's try something different. Let's figure it out together as we go. First of all, I want to tie this video to the previous one about market manipulation. As we've seen, the big players have learned the ways most of us algorithmic traders work and are successful in producing shots that are quite terrible for us. So my hope is that, at least for a while, we have a bit of an edge with the vector, provided that it's different enough in concept from shots or depth shots. It appears that this algo works differently from shots or depth shots in that it does not hold active orders on all the coins included in the algo, which means it does not require a ton of margin to work. Instead, it continuously analyzes the price movement and specifically the individual trades to establish a pattern. And once established, only then does it place orders that eat into your margin. A side benefit of this is that when Binance inevitably lags for 10 or 15 seconds and wipes out all of your standing orders, here there will be nothing to wipe out. First look at the parameters, and I'm ready to immediately rank this algorithm S tier in terms of complexity. Regular shots have 5 variables, depth shots have 10, and the vector has over 15 of them. It is nice, though, that along with the new algorithm, a pretty solid piece of documentation was published. Makes things much easier. The first order of business for me, then, is to figure out which parameters are fundamental and which ones are tweaks and fine-tunes for later. So the first half of algorithm parameters mainly has to do with describing the type of pattern we are looking for. The 3 main things that outline the pattern are at the very top of the algorithm parameters. So let's see what they are and what the defaults are. I'd start with the time frame first. From what I understand, this defines the length of time during which the pattern must persist. With a setting of 1 second, if the pattern only persists for 0.8 seconds, then sorry, it doesn't fit. What could this mean? My guess is that the longer the time frame, the stronger the pattern, and at the same time, the lower are the chances of its occurrence. In fact, let me get a bit ahead of myself. Before actually studying the algo, I just fired up the default settings on a bunch of active markets just to see what happens. And I barely got any trades. So, from now on, for every parameter I'm looking at, I'll try and guess what values make actual trades more likely and less likely. Now back to the time frame. I assume that longer time frames generally lead to less trades, and shorter time frames lead to more trades. This has to do with the diminishing likelihood of a pattern persisting for longer amounts of time. Next, we've got the frame size. This is kind of the subdivision of the time frame. Look at it this way. If we were to look at a piece of fabric with a pattern on it, as a human, I can pretty much instantly recognize the repeating shapes and go, yep, that is a pattern. And that is a pattern, and that is a pattern, all of these. An algorithm, on the other hand, does not have that instant contextual awareness, and it needs very specific data points. So when it looks at this piece of fabric, it must split it into several strips or frames and then start comparing. This frame is the basis, then this next frame is the same, and this next frame is the same, and this one? Okay, so this means it is a pattern, at least for the length of these 4 frames. And that's exactly what the algorithm does with trades. It splits the whole time frame into smaller frame sizes. You don't specify the number of frames, but the duration. In the default case, with the time frame of 1 second and frame size of 0.2, we'd have a total of 5 frames. So, in order for the algo to mark something as a pattern, a certain thing has to be true 5 times in a row within 1 second. But what is that thing that has to be true? What shape are we looking for? That's where the minimum spread size comes in. Alright, to my liking, the term spread has been way overused. It is not this spread, it is not this spread, nor is it this spread. It is some fourth type of spread. Basically, in this case, it is the difference between the maximum and the minimum price within a frame, or the absolute delta across the frame, to use Moontrader's own terminology, or the candlestick range, if using the Binance terminology. So, with the default settings, the algorithm is basically looking for 5 consecutive microcandles that, including their wicks, are at least 0.5% in size. If one of them is 0.49% in size, then sorry, it's not a pattern as defined in the algo parameters. From what I understand, the time frame is sliding. So every 0.2 seconds, the algo is comparing the latest 5 frames. Therefore, every frame is compared 5 times to 5 different sets of neighbors. Now, which frame size and which minimum spread size will lead to more trades and which will lead to fewer trades? With the spread size, it is a no-brainer. The smaller the spread size, the more frequently it will occur. In this respect, it is somewhat akin to distance in regular shots. With frame size, it seems to be a function of its relative size to the time frame. So, fewer frames means better chance of a pattern, but a weaker one. More frames means less frequent but stronger patterns. A thing is more likely to repeat across 2 frames than across 5 frames. Also, I am assuming that the frame size must necessarily be smaller than or equal to half of the time frame. Otherwise, the whole thing stops making sense. Now, these 2 border ranges, I'll skip for now, because they fall into the fine-tuning category. The last 2 settings that help box a pattern in are the minimum trades per frame and minimum quoted asset volume per frame. This one defaults to 2, and it is again a no-brainer. You gotta have at least 2 price points to be able to determine the spread, aka the absolute delta, aka the candle range. I think this one may be a very useful thing. Remember in the previous video I talked about how coins behave differently when they are in their normal state versus agitated active state. Well, this is exactly the key determining factor for that. Until further research, I'll be leaving this at 2. Now this one defaults to 10,000 per frame. Let's stop and think about it for a bit. The default expects a trade volume of at least 10,000 USDT every 0.2 seconds. This equals 3 million per minute. Right. Not even Bitcoin on Binance Futures has that kind of volume. Right, I know. This is for peaks. This is not for consistent volume output over a minute. But anyway, with these defaults, I'm guessing you may get a trade once in a blue moon. So for this one, definitely the greater the number, the smaller your chances are of getting a trade. And it may be the main reason I barely got any trades with the default setup. This one definitely needs to go lower in practice, unless your algo is looking specifically for monster-sized volumes and knows what to do with them. Okay, so these were all the mandatory parameters that tell the algo what kind of pattern it should be looking for. With the default settings, this is a pattern, and this is the same pattern, and also this is the same pattern, and so is this. With this kind of variety, I'm kinda not sure what to do and how to act based on these. And that has to be decided down here in the bottom half of the algorithm parameters, where you tell it what to do once a pattern is found. And this is a whole nother can of worms. And I'll take these apart in an upcoming video.